Hello and welcome to For the Quantum Grammar Shoot podcast, the only podcast of its kind on the interwebs that I'm aware of. I'm your host, Jason Matthew Glass. You may call me Jason. In this podcast, I will discuss various topics as viewed through the lens of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar. The wonderful technology brought to the public by the late David-WYNN Miller in 1988. Redwood original. That's right. Anyways, today I'd like to talk about AI and Chatgbt, to be specific. Any other AI automated service that you can access on the internet. When you're writing a paper, a story, a Facebook post, a court case, whatever you're writing, you can use this chatbot thing. I don't even know the correct terminology for it in the fiction because I stay as far away from it as I possibly can. And if I'm looking through social media, I'm noticing the vast majority of posts that contain text have been written by this AI program. And to someone like me, it's very easy to see that. Not only that, now we're seeing pictures on the internet created by AI that are getting more and more, what we would, to use a fiction term, realistic or authentic appearing, although they're not authentic. They're imagined by artificial intelligence. Not a real picture snapped by a real human. No. A picture, quote unquote, painted by AI. I'm to the point where if this is all I'm going to see, then I really don't need to use those particular social media platforms anymore. Because that sort of stuff just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, such a bad sensation in the pit of my stomach. I don't really want to be around it. I couldn't really put my finger on why that sensation occurred in me, basically instinctively, until I started thinking about it and seeing it more and more. Because when it wasn't really prevalent, it was easy just to scroll past it or just ignore it, basically. Just don't pay any attention to it. It's like, contract is by consent. You choose what you look at. Something may pop up. You can choose to not continue to look at it. You know what I mean? You have a choice. But when it becomes so prevalent and continuous, then you have to consider, okay, there's content that I want to see, that I'm looking for, and this content does not fit that. And now the majority of the content on this platform is what I don't want to see. Well, then it's time to get off the platform. That's the way I look at it anyways. It's kind of the same with anything. So let's get into this Chatgbt thing and the long-reaching potential, and actually not potential, probable effects of it. Effect meaning E-F-F-E-C-T. I saw on the internet where someone said, how can you remember the difference between affect, A-F-F-E-C-T, and effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, which phonetically are basically both pronounced the same. And someone said, affect with the A equals fuck around. And then the effect with an E means find out. I thought that was hilarious. So Chatgbt. Think about this, folks. Think about this right now. 10 years from now. Not even 10 years. Let's say 5 years from now. When you go to a doctor's office, imagine this. the doctor that you're going to see, if it's a young doctor who perhaps just graduated his college schooling within the last year or two, imagine this. That doctor most likely did not write any of his papers in school. Chatgbt did. Is that the kind of medical professional that you want to treat you? It's the same in anything, really. Any college degree, they're all having Chatgbt write their papers for them. Which means they're not learning to the standard that folks learned 5 years ago. Even 2 years ago. They're basically not doing the work. And so all these professionals that have these degrees in these fields that are going to be graduating in the next 5 to 10 years are quote-unquote professionals that have not put the work in to get the degree. Chatgbt did. Do you see what I'm saying? So the quality is just going to continue to drop. If you think the educational quality has dropped and the illiteracy has dropped in the last 10 to 20 years, you ain't seen nothing yet. Full stop. And I'm using that term ain't in a slightly cheeky fashion. In my mind, it's just like everything else in this society nowadays. The whittling down of the attention span as facilitated by electronic devices. I mean, seriously, even in my own family, I see this happening, where you have a toddler and you want them to sit down and eat. What do? You set the iPad up in front of them, or your phone, or whatever. You prop it up. They will sit there and watch the electronic device and eat their sugary foods. Just like the diet. We can segue into the diet there, where parents don't want to be troubled with teaching their children to eat at least halfway nutritious foods. No, they just give them sugar, give them whatever they want, give them graham crackers, gummy bears, sweet fruits, thinking that that's going to be healthy. I mean, fruits definitely are healthy, but if that's the healthiest part of what you're eating as a meal all day long, not good. Not really good when you're looking at what we can call blood glucose later on in life. Okay? And the most interesting and thought-provoking part of this is that the parents that are allowing their children to eat this sugary diet, they themselves struggle with diabetes and other issues related to a lot of sugar in their diets. This doesn't make much sense to me, but I digress. So back to the electronics raising the children. That's basically the babysitter that we have now, are electronics. And eventually, sooner rather than later, the children gain autonomy on these electronic devices, and their little eyes begin to see things that they probably shouldn't be looking at until they're over 18. And there you go. Now, they're having their minds literally programmed. Now, you older folks out there that are my age or older, you know how the survivalists and the militia people and the conspiracy nuts, we used to call them. Well, I think they still call them that today. Used to say things like, "Don't watch the television. The television is a box for your mind. It's a tell-lie vision. Don't watch TV." And then before that, there was like, "Don't listen to the radio. It's programming you." And before that, it was like, "Don't read books. They're brainwashing you." Well, now this is like the epitome of that with these electronic devices and Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever else there is, Red Note. What is it called? Red Note? What, China app? Whatever app you're looking at, YouTube. All those things. It's like the epitome of programming. So this all boils down to AI and Chatgbt. Everything is tailored to, basically, the algorithm is determined by you a lot of times. Meaning, if you're having a conversation with someone about, I don't know, let me just see, wind chimes. I don't know if you can hear the wind chime outside my window. You're having a conversation about, I love the musical sound of wind chimes. All of a sudden, if you're scrolling through social media, you're going to start seeing ads for wind chimes. You may get an email about a wind chime because your device, which, interestingly enough, you cannot take the battery out of, so you can never actually power it down and shut your location off. It hears you at all times, even if you have it quote unquote powered off. So all of this data that you're giving it, whether you're speaking with the phone off or talking to your friends and family using verbal communication, whether you're text messaging, sharing pictures, uploading content to the internet, AI is taking all of this data and farming it and tailoring all of it to you and to other people. And they're also selling it to corporations. It's just a huge conglomeration of what I would term yuck. It's a huge conglomeration of yuck in my mind. And to bring it back to the Chatgbt, I just find it one of the most repugnant things, if not the most repugnant thing, to come out of the internet generation. So now, folks, I've gone about 13 minutes on about complaining about ChatGPT, ranting, if you will, about ChatGPT. Or we could also say sharing my viewpoint on it. Some might say, oh, it's just a tool. Yeah, it's a tool, okay. But it's like this, all right? To me, it's a tool of necessity. If you lack the cognitive ability to write your own paper and do your own work, then it would be necessary to use a tool like that. If you're in the weight room and you have medical conditions such as maybe you have back issues and things like that, and you can't do a squat, well, now it's necessary to use the leg press machine. It's as an alternative, but it would not be the desirable thing to go to in a general sense of what you would use. You want to use the best tool, which would be your frickin' brain, your formatory apparatus. Because I also like to think of that as a muscle, just like any other muscle, although I know it's not a muscle. But I like to think of it in that same context because you have to use it to strengthen it. And you will strengthen it the more you use it. The less you use it, the dumber you'll get. That's just how it works. It's like correct sentence structure. Even if you reach that aha moment where it clicks, and it's like riding a bicycle, now you'll never forget it. Okay, you may not ever forget it, But let's say you ride a bicycle for 10 years. Okay? Every day you ride a bicycle. And then one day comes and something happens and the bicycle gets taken away and you can no longer ride a bicycle. And you go 10 years without riding a bicycle. Do you think that when you hop on a bicycle after 10 years of not riding it, not doing anything bicycle related, that you're going to be able to ride that bicycle as well as you did 10 years ago? No. And if you jump on it and think you're going to be able to do the same tricks and go the same speed you did before right away, well, you're going to end up with some skinned knees, if not a cracked skull. It's the same thing with correct sentence structure. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it or get very, very rusty on it and make dumb mistakes. And I use the word dumb because I want to kind of be a little bit harsh with this particular conveyance. Try to drive home the point that it's important to do correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar every day. Just like you would keep your knives sharp, your weapons greased, all this stuff. You have to keep everything functioning. And it's no different for your brain. You have to use your brain in order to maintain the brain. And I remember having a conversation with a student the other day where they mentioned something about brainwashing. And I remember so long ago, somebody once said about being brainwashed. Well, what's so bad about that? I mean, you wash your body, right? Why wouldn't you wash your brain? Get all the dirt out, the filth out, the negativity out of it. Wash it. Scrub it up, nice and shiny. What's wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that? And I thought about that idea. It's like, that's true. How did brainwash become a negative term? I don't know. Because if you say body wash, that has a completely different connotation, doesn't it? Car wash, that's a completely different connotation. So why is brainwash negative? Weird, huh? Very weird. But then again, the plain simple English language is very weird. A lot of weirdness going on, over 50% negative particles in it. I would guesstimate, based upon all the study I've done on it, which, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, I have not just been studying grammar for the last 8+ years. I've been studying correct sentence structure and teaching correct sentence structure for the last 8+ years. But studying language and grammar, that's been going on my whole life since probably 1984-85. Yeah. When I started studying etymology. So, I mean, that's the type of foundation that I wouldn't trade for anything. I did the work. Hell, when I was in college, handwritten papers were going the way of like an extinct animal. Very few people hand wrote papers. And I had limited access to printers and computers and things back then. So sometimes my paper would be handwritten and sometimes it would be typed. But can you imagine handwriting a college term paper? What? Oh, man. I think if a college student these days had to handwrite a paper, they'd probably go to the emergency room with pain in their wrist and ask for some Demerol or something. Probably. Can't imagine. The anguish and stress. They'd have to go to their frickin' therapist, right? They'd have to go into therapy for that. Oh my God. Put me in my safe space. I'm so scared. What is this? Well, you don't have to do that. You just have to get on Chatgbt, and they'll write the frickin' paper for you. Yay! And then when you get out of college and you graduate, if you're put on the spot and the whole grid goes down, wow. A lot of people are going to be looking pretty funny out there in their professional fields when they don't have access to a database, when they no longer have books on their shelves, or paper files, or, Odin forbid, data in their databanks in their brain, in their formatory apparatus. They're going to be caught lacking. But that's okay, because I also participate with the viewpoint that the cosmos, i.e. Mother Nature, Mother Earth, the micro and macrocosm of what we exist within and participate with, that everything happens for a reason. That there are no accidents, no coincidences, and everything, even though something may seem bad or terrible, it's all has a function and a purpose. And that's why every single one of you listening to this has gone through something horrific, has experienced terrible things, and maybe even you have perpetrated terrible things. Maybe. I mean, it's a whole length and breadth of experience, this existence. And so many people put such an emphasis on the fear of this existence ending, which is peculiar in particular to Western culture, whereas a lot of Eastern cultures, it's not such a big deal. I mean, you're born, and then you're the opposite of that at one point. And that's that. And just like anything else, Chatgpt will reach a crescendo, I predict, and then be gone. And who knows? Maybe the whole grid will be gone with it, and all the things related to the electronic things like electronic cars, internets, clouds, Chatgpt, GPS, everything, all that stuff, crypto, it's all going to be gone and wiped off the face of the earth, and we're just going to be left with Mad Max the Road Warrior, or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty damn exciting to me. And I'd be down for that type of scenario for sure. Then you'd find out who is who. All right, folks. Wow. We went from computer nerd world into Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Whew. We don't need another hero. All right. Now I'm getting goofy. Thanks for listening. I do appreciate you out there listening to me and subscribing to this channel and liking the videos and commenting. And you supporters out there, I especially give you a heartfelt thank you, because it really helps me to continue on with doing what I'm doing. And anyone who sends a donation, just so that you know, it's going to be going towards my new computer, because I do need a new computer. I've had the same one for I've been inching it along for the last 5 years, but it's not making it, man. It's bleeding out, and that's why I haven't been putting out so much content lately. But those of you supporters out there, that just know that that's what your support's going towards. Thank you, and que sera, sera.